us to literally put on our or take away our emotional headspace and focus on rational. I'm not going to be on long. I was supposed to do another live, but I don't have my StreamYard set up. I'm actually traveling. Well, today was a travel day, and so I just wanted to come in and share some of the insights that hopefully will keep you as well as your children safe. I'm gonna, ruffle some feathers, but when I do, just please keep in mind that when I say I know a thing or two about a thing or two, and what I don't know, I know peoples who know. My New York vernacular, where my peoples? I know peoples who know. That's where this is coming from. And so, without further ado, I'm probably going to come back on live later tonight to go over the um, action steps that we need to take based on the project that they're working on or the projects that they're working on. And then, blessings, everyone. I'm actually driving right now. I just didn't want to not come in live, but I wanted to come in and share some things that I want us to take our ego out of it and start to really adapt the mind of a warrior, right? I want us to understand that the playing field is nowhere near level. And so sometimes you've really got to go ahead and take it on the chin in order to survive, right? And let's not even talk about thriving. So let me stop talking in riddles. There's a few things that I'll just say I observe, but I also know a thing or two about them. I want us, especially now, if you're an adult, if you're like in your 40s, 50s, hey everyone, if you're, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, eat the meat, spit out the bones. But I do want us to look out for our younger ones that don't have an idea and or a clue. I want, me even saying this, I know, listen, comment, hate me, love me, whatever. But there's certain targets that they're going to go after first, right? And when I say go after first, there's a reason why there's so many prisons being, built. There's a reason why they took away things like Job Corps. There's a reason why they are doing things to push us into a certain area, a certain box that will lead us into what they have planned for us. Hopefully, you picked up what I was putting down just then. Again, this platform, you have to be, if I want people to see this, then I have to, choose my words carefully. If you have children, if you have young adults in your lives, and they are representing themselves through things that the other side may deem as threatening, as GANG related, please, please, please whitewash it. All of this living, I want to be myself stuff is going to do more harm than good. If they have locks, especially our young boys, especially our young men, if they have locks, just know that they are now pretty much deemed a suspect. If they have tattoos, please know that they are pretty much deemed a suspect. Case in point, and if you haven't seen this clip, this video, I might have referenced it in another live video that I did. Case in point, and you don't have to take my word for it, you can just watch this video and completely understand what their goals are for us. There was I want to say rapper. I might, he's some type of creative, right? And I believe he was somewhere in the South, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. He was someplace in the South and got pulled over. And when he got pulled over, they found out he had $60,000 in his car. He had $60,000 in the car, and he had a Pum Pum. But before they found the Pum Pum, it was already clear that they was ready to throw the book at him, right? And these are just the officers. They had found him guilty before even knowing anything about this man, his lifestyle, his livelihood. They found the money. They automatically make the assumptions that it's illegal, dirty money, right? They then find the Pum Pum, and all the officer could say was, I pray this is stolen, or I hope this is stolen. Instead of, do you have a license to carry? Do you have a license to carry? And I believe he told them. I'm not sure if he told them or if he had a chance to tell them. But he, thank you. But he ended up, being legit. But they literally were ready to lock him up. They were ready to lock him up, throw away the keys, put him in one of those new labor camps, I'll call them. And he had a certain look. Not only did he have a look, he was dealing, meaning the person who had the look, the person who was being, condemned without any type of reason or rationale, because that's not the same treatment. That's what I mean when I say things are not, there's not a level playing field. And I have so many places I want to go with this. Things are not a level playing field, so we should not treat it like that. Things are a level playing field. We know that if we get pulled over, there's certain assumptions that are made that are not made with the general populace, right? We know that if we have money that they deem too much money, and that's at their discretion, we are not treated the same as the general populace. If we have a license to carry firearm in our vehicle, it is not looked at the same as the general populace. And so we must move as if that's the expectation. We are not going to be treated like the general populace. So if they pull over a young person who may have, been egged on by social media and has not just I won't even call it a temper, but is frustrated, a level of frustration and disgust, that can end up very bad for them. That can be labeled as um, resisting arrest, threatening to an officer, this and that. Please, 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 please talk to your young people in your life. Please have a plan. So if something like that does happen, they do not make a frustrating situation a horrific situation. They are also hiring officers in record numbers, y'all. I don't think many of y'all know what the forecast is for not only, police departments, but Homeland Security, as well as, immigration, the ICE. I don't think y'all know what the plans are, but I think you should know, especially in the city, the state, the county that you live in. So many people are focusing this gerrymandering stuff that's happening in these southern states solely on the, election for the midterms. It is so, so much bigger than that. This is going to affect policing. It's going to affect who can sue for discrimination. It's going to affect so many things. And I really, really, really need us to be on our P's and Q's. And most of my audience I know is of a certain age, as Wendy Williams used to say, you're people of certain ages, but we have children, we have grandchildren, we have nieces, and we have nephews that have no clue of the severity of what's going on. So please, if there's a certain look that they possess or character, if they're expressing themselves a certain way and it's not due to religious reasons, if you have locks or if they have locks and it's not for religious reasons, urge them. I don't care if you need to cry at their feet to get those locks removed. They now automatically fit a certain description. I mean, they have previously, but it's being amped up. It's being ramped up now. And I really want us to be cognizant of that. There are certain secret meetings that are happening as to who to profile and who to pull over randomly, willy nilly. And so I really want us to keep that in mind. I want us to really know there's ways to find out from your local, government what their plans are for the next 10, 15 years. And those are who are realtors or people in the real estate profession know that there's certain meetings that happen. There's certain council people that you can tap into. Now, I know I'm not foolish. I don't think everybody's going to do that. But if you don't know, assume the worst. Assume the worst, because that's exactly how serious it's going to be. Hey, Andrew, let me just say hi to some people. Hi, Juanita. Hey, Deborah. I do. I've, I also have to be very, careful, because there's certain things that, for the sake of, keeping this channel up and hell, my safety, I can't just blatantly say, but again, just know that my passion in coming live tonight is because they are expeditiously planning to arrest us. They are expeditiously planning to put our babies in bondage. They are expeditiously stacking the court so that you have no recourse. There'll be no such thing as a mistrial. There'll be no such thing as an overturning of a verdict. There'll be no such thing as suing for civil rights. Like, this is so far beyond most people's comprehension, and they are totally tailoring the messaging that way. Please, 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 please protect our babies. If you don't want to protect yourself, if you want to keep your locks, if you want to keep your face tattoos and neck tattoos. Y'all see what happened to Abrego? What is his name? Julio Abrego. Y'all see what happened to him, right? That was like a forewarning. Supposedly, some tattoo that he had represented something they were deeming as GANG related, and it wasn't. But that's what they're going to start doing. They're going to start they already have been profiling, but they're really going to ramp up their targeting. And the people that they are putting on the forces today are not, we could imagine who they're selecting. Hey, Casper 330, good to see you. So that's number 1 and 2. I hate to say conform, but sometimes you have to infiltrate, to stay protected, to stay safe. And I don't know why this man is literally sitting in my face with his lights on. Sorry, he decided to move. But yeah, so I truly want us to keep our babies safe. There's some other things that are happening, like on college campuses, primarily HBCUs, that I'll probably talk about later. But there's some nefarious things going on, and some most of the people that I see that it's being it affected or impacted are people that are deemed a threat, or it could be what they would say drug dealers. So they're trying to go after the highest probability of people first, right? So if you have locks, or if you have a look, let me just say that if you have a look, they're going to deem that as threatening, or potentially um, someone who deals with illegal activities. And so let's just be honest. Like, let's just be honest. We want to keep, that Crown Act thing was beautiful, right? The Crown Act, which allowed for companies not to discriminate against, natural hair for African Americans or Black people. Well, we know that ain't going nowhere now, right? We know that most of these companies have already, showed who they are by eliminating DEI. So they are going to easily discriminate, if you even have a chance of being hired, based on aesthetics, based on what they deem is a comfortable aesthetic. And so that's going to apply. Again, the train has left the station. This is not something that I would, as someone who's been natural since 2017, 2016, 2016. I get it. I totally get it. But I also get that if I had to go apply for a job today with corporate, oh, I'd have to fry this, dye this, and lay it to the side this in order to have any real chance, regardless of my work history, regardless of my work ethic, regardless as to if I was the best person for the job. The game done changed, y'all. The game has completely changed, and I need us to be conscious of that. The military, the policing state has changed, and it's going to get even worse. Again, if you have children and they're traveling, especially internationally abroad, we need to talk about what could potentially happen and if you're prepared, especially if they have questionable, or what the the current administration would deem as questionable, birthright, right? So if you have, a parent who came here from another country, brown and Black countries, then there should be some serious conversations and some serious what to do next if this happens, conversations. And so again, I wanted to come on and talk about that because I've been exposed to some things that um led me to have this urgent conversation. It's not a game, it is not a joke. Things are going to This is summertime. um People are going to act, I don't even want to say, people are going to, be outside, and that just makes the exposure even greater. So those are two areas. I am going to come back on. There was another area, but I do need to make run into this store before it closes. But I am probably going to come back on late. I might do a late night session, like around 11 o'clock, just to go over the other live that I had planned, and to really go over action steps, the most critical action steps that we as a community need to be focused on. Again, this channel is really about action, what to do versus what's happening. There's a few brilliant people that are covering exactly the news. They are legal minds. Um, I'll share those in the description later. People you can check out here on this channel. There's not enough of us, and we know the corporate news is not doing that, and it's going to get worse. They're going to cover even less of it. but I want us to be more action focused and solution focused and art of war focused. I talked about it. Yes. Hey, Shalonda. Hey, White, tell her. um, we have to be we have to be like ninja warriors. And sometimes that requires us acting and playing a game that we may not want to play right now. But if it means keeping my baby safe, if it means keeping my community safe, we're gonna have to play the game. And um yeah, I'm gonna come on later tonight. I'm working on like, well, I took a little nap a little while ago, but I'm working on like 3 hours of sleep. Had an early flight. Um, been running ever since. But I wanted to come on and definitely share I'll talk more about what I talked about today, just now, a little later on what to do. But I know a lot of us have nephews, nieces, children, grandchildren, uncles that may no one may be telling them this. And if it means like you giving examples, there's enough of them on social media as to their intent for us, then please, 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 please do it. And you may not change everyone's mind, right? But it's better to share this information, and God forbid they end up in one of those situations. It's not like you're sitting there like, damn, I woulda, shoulda, coulda, said something. So, and I'll share, just quickly, like I'm literally, please, please, please keep your appearance as, excuse me, keep your appearance as less what they would see a usual suspect. And you gotta be able to blend in, be a chameleon here, because that's when you'll get the information, right? That's when you'll know exactly what's going on. So anyway, I'm still rambling. Not still rambling. I'm starting to ramble, but I will be back later tonight live to talk about the most critical things, action steps we need to take as a community. I might go through, there's a list of 20, from highly critical to moderately critical, and I'll go over that later on. So please feel free to join. Um, I'm just going to say 11 o'clock because I'm still outside running errands. So I'll just say 11 o'clock. But hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to, do more of these just based on the information that I can share, and in the ways that I can share it. But it's this summer's going to be interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, thank you for those who hit the like button. Love y'all for real. Subscribe to the Gym Nation family. If this is, if you about staying ready and keeping our people ready, because we gonna need each other for real, for real. And I'll be back later tonight. But thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys later. Bye.